So this will be the first video of the new series with the new tank, and obviously it's going to start off with the stand just like the 20 gallon did. Obviously I didn't show you guys building the 20 gallon tank because that was a way more complicated stand, but this one's way more simpler. It's one that everybody knows how to build, at least all the fish keepers out there. We've seen this stand a million times. It's nothing new, but I was going to show the frame, and then this video will be over time, so you guys will actually see the end product of this, so you'll see what it looks like finished at the end of this video, and whatever else I added, this will just be, at its state right now. And so I got it all framed up. So I'll see if you guys watched, I'm getting the 90p, which is a 44 gallon tank. It might be pushing 50. I don't know, that each website says it's different. I don't know exactly how many gallons it really is, but I got this all built. This is basically built to be flush with all sides. After I get the plywood all on there, that'll add three quarters on each side, which will make it exactly 36 long, and then exactly 18 wide, and that will flush it up with the whole tank. Obviously with the rimless look, that's kind of how everybody does it, and it does look pretty good. So that's how we're going to do that. And one thing I really didn't account for is the side I made exactly 18, which is a tank, so I might not even just plywood the back, because obviously the tank's gonna be flush with the front, so who knows, there might be a little gap in the back a little bit, but that's fine. It's not like you're gonna see it anyway. But that's one thing I realized I didn't even account for when it came to the width. But lengthwise it's fine. Once I put that 3/4 plywood, it'll be perfectly 36. I already checked that. But drawer wise, it's kind of weird when you do 2x4, because there's not really a good way to do this, but I'm definitely going to see if I can just try to do some flush doors that will just be flush with the front, so the front's all nice and flat, just to kind of get it as close as kind of ADA stand as possible. Obviously, if I wanted to really like do an actual ADA stand, I probably would have made it all out of plywood or 3/4, and we could have actually, it would have been easier to do some doors on that. But well, I'll see what I can do. You guys will obviously see in the video during this video. But if you guys have any questions or you want the plans for this, it's not really that hard. It's the same how everybody else builds it. Obviously, it's just different dimensions. I made mine 36 tall, so it's actually way taller than most people do. Usually it's about 30 inches, 30, 32. But I wanted to be able, the tank's 18, so I just wanted to be able to actually like be like head height with it this time. I'll still be able to look over it perfectly fine. It'll just be this time it'll be like, you don't have to actually like bend down like the 20 gallon where you can't, you only see the top of the tank. You really have to like get down to actually see right in front of it. So this will be able to just be look right at it. But I'll probably drill holes on both sides, or do like an oval, or I don't know, whatever I come up with, just so I can get because more than likely the filter hose will come, the inlet and outlets will come out the left side, because that's where the side that's not going to really be showing. I'll probably just go ahead and do holes on this side too, just so it's there and so we have it. Because more than likely, if I ever want to put CO2, or if I want to actually throw some CO2 in the tank, mine's going to be in line. But if I ever want to, I'd probably pull it out this side and do it to the right, so there's not too much stuff on one side. But yeah, and the nice thing having it pretty tall is the filter's pretty tall. Also, I'm doing the Thermo 600 from Osei, so that filter's pretty tall and pretty big, so it'll take up most of the space in here. And then the CO2 tank, it'll fit both of them pretty fine. It's not, the biggest stand in the world, but with the bigger equipment, it's kind of what it is. But it'll fit everything perfectly fine. I might make a little mount where I can mount my plug strip somewhere on the wall. Maybe I'll like actually do it on the back of the wall. Maybe maybe I can actually put a thin sheet like a 1/4 inch back there, and just something to mount to. I don't know. That might not even be thick enough to even mount anything to, but just find a way to make it look a lot nicer this time with all the cords and stuff, so it looks a little more professional when you open it up. But we'll be using 3/4 inches is birch, so it's a hardwood, so it's gonna be a little more better for moisture and all that. Also, once we put the paint on there, which I'm doing like a darker gray. Gray just always looks good with aquariums, so I'm just gonna stick with that like most people do. So this will be good. I should have no problem with this 3/4, so I mean there's no problem with this ever warping. It's usually most people do 1/2 inch, so I just got a little more higher up. So this is where the actual tank will go. Where this plug is, that the stand you just saw will sit right here. And then we'll have the tank right there. And then the twin star light, which you'll actually see a video of once I get the tank. And because I'm going to do a whole setup video too, so I just kind of want to do that all in one. But that will hang from the ceiling. The nice thing is having that tank so tall, the light won't suspend from that far because this is a 9 foot, so it kind of makes it. Sometimes when you get too tall of a ceiling, the light doesn't look good from hanging from the ceiling because it's coming down from so far. But the tank will be so tall, so I'll only be that light will only be hanging maybe like 2.5 feet. So that'd be nice. And then of course, like I talked about probably a year ago from now, that I was gonna do this wood wall in the back to make it look cool, have a little backdrop. I was gonna do a darker gray, but it didn't really match that well. This looks just as good. And plus, we'll have a frosted background in the back of the tank anyway, so it's not like it affected the tank anyway. But that looked pretty cool against there. It looked really cool. But that's all I want to show for this clip. So whatever you guys see next is kind of future. So I'll see you guys in the next phase. So we're back with a little update. So I got all the plywood on. The fronts will have to wait. There's gonna be some doors, so that's gonna be you'll see this in this video, but the next clip. But I don't have that at the moment. But there'll be a little strip that goes across here. It'll basically look just like an ADA stand design wise. So there'll be a little piece that goes across here, and then there'll be the two doors obviously. And then so yeah, I got all this plywood. I just left the back exposed. There's really no point. I mean, it would look nicer, but it'd just be easier to have the back open. It's just all there is just a little square, so that'll be easy just to get all the wires through there, whatever I need. So I got that, and then I still gotta finish. I gotta put a little piece right there just to make that look nicer. But I got those two down, and then I made a little shelf right here. So basically, the dosing pump for my fertilizers will sit right here. I might even have a couple. I just don't know yet. I'm trying to figure out what I'm trying to dose, but it'll probably just end up being just the fertilizer itself. So I'll just have one pump sitting here, and if I have two, then they'll just be side by side. And basically, the tubing, I had this right here, so I can just run the tubing against the plywood, so it just looks nicer. I can run it down neatly, staple it, or they make them little. I'll show you guys will see, but there's the wire staples that they use for cable and all that'll just wrap. It's just a little round staple that will just neatly just keep the tube pressed against that, so we can just neatly line it down. And then I'll have bottles of fertilizer sitting down here where the tube can just shoot right into those bottles, and the dosing pump will just sit right on here, so it just makes it a little easier, a little neater. And then probably the tube, I imagine you'll just run out the back, and then sit on the back of the tank. But so that's it for this clip. So the next clip it should be with the doors on, and after that and then after that one you'll see basically the final product. So I'll see you guys in the next clip. So I skipped a lot of steps, at least in the video. The last time you guys saw it was all plywood, and that's about it. There wasn't no doors or nothing. But I just didn't have time to video any other steps. But I will make a separate video on basically running through this whole stand and how I built it. Because there's really no point in going, recording step by step everything I did. Because it's quite simple. It's about the same everybody else does building the stand wise. It's just the outside that's a little different, but even then, that stuff's simple enough that I can show you guys what I did, and you guys can replicate the same thing if you want. But this is basically the ending product, so we kind of just skipped a couple steps, like I said, but this is all finished. There's a couple still touch-ups, but basically we ended up getting as close to an ADA stand as possible, and it turned out pretty good. Obviously not perfect, but for what we're doing, plenty good. So I actually was able to get the doors to go all the way, and because of that, I used piano hinges. And obviously we got the click doors, so these just click open, just like an ADA stand would. And then I just left the inside bare, so you guys can obviously see it's just your normal 2x4 stand. And I just used the piano hinges, which worked fine. And then obviously I just had to put a board up there, because these need to be lower for the door to hit, so I just had to put a block up there, connect those two, line them up, and then they just click right in. Magnetic. Now this is 3/4, so it's really thick, so it is heavy. So these aren't the strongest magnets, but they do hold them in place. But if you were to shake, see how it comes apart, because it's not real strong, but it's not like the stand is shaking anyways, so it holds. That's all that matters. But if there's a lot of movement, it will fall off, but obviously there's not going to be any movement anyways. It's going to have a big heavy tank on it. So but that's just something to think about if you want to do magnets on a 3/4 plywood like this. I would definitely get stronger. If you're doing something like I did, it'll be fine if you're doing doors, but if you're doing one big panel that comes off, I would probably try to actually buy like some big magnets to put in the corners or something, because probably the hinge thing ain't gonna work very well. Unless you can get a big commercial one that's has a really good magnet on it, but whatever. But that's just something to think about that I've now that I've done it, to share with you guys. But I'll go through a lot in more detail in the next video. But so yeah, it's basically all ready to go. The tank will be coming, and obviously we'll lay the mat on top. The tank will go right there. It'll be all flush all around. And yeah, that's about. I still need to drill some holes on the side. I don't know about this side. I might as well just go ahead and drill both sides, but I'll put a hole right there and then a hole on the other side. But this hole is mainly going to get used because it's the side you can't see, so the filter pipes will go up on this side. And I don't know if anything will get used on that side. Maybe the doser, I don't know, but I think the doser will just come up through the back. But and that's the last thing. I know I explained it in the previous clip, but obviously the doser will just sit on that, and then we can kind of neatly have the tubing the bottles of fertilizer will sit right here, and then it just gives a nice like flat path for the tubes to go straight into the bottles. So that'll be nice. You probably got a sneak peek already, but I got a lot of stuff already coming. Obviously the OSE Thermal 600 I got for filtration. It's all kind of sneak peek right now because I haven't told you guys exactly everything I'm getting. Unless you watch, me bidding all this out, you would have saw everything I'm getting. But I test that out. That fits perfectly in this stand. It kind of fits in this half. So it'll basically sit on this sheet of plywood right here, and then the other sheet will fit perfectly for the CO2. And so it looks like we'll have plenty of room. That's why I made it so tall. I made this stand 36, which is way taller. Usually make fish stands about 30, 32. On average, that's usually what everybody does. I made mine 36. I just wanted it plenty tall for all the the canister and all that. Which 30, 32 is obviously perfectly fine too. But I just wanted plenty of room to work in, and so we have no concerns. So everything fits just fine. But yeah, next the new series will be starting up. So if you guys want to watch that, if you guys made this far, but the new series will start up with this tank, and once I get the tank, we'll start doing basically everything. Because the rocks are coming with this tank, so I already got basically all the substrate stuff. More additives and stuff are coming that I need first before I lay this down, because I got the power sand advanced, and then the Amazonian sand, but I still need the additives that will go with the power sand first, because that'll be the bottom layer. So I have to wait on that before I can even add soil. But I might, if I don't get those before the rocks, I'll just kind of already plan a layout and just maybe do it on the floor, just figure out a layout that I want to do with the rocks, and then we can start adding everything once we get everything here. But so yeah, so this week we should start actually seeing a lot of videos of the tank first. Obviously the how I built this will be next, and then yeah, we'll start doing reviews on all this stuff, the canister. We'll start setting all this up. I'll show you guys how to do all this, but other than that, it's gonna be a cool year, and I'll see you guys in the next one.